Hello everyone, today is Sunday, November 25th from super sunny Manila, Philippines today for our weekly Bitcoin.com news upgrade. I'm Roger Veer as usual, and third week in a row I think.
That's Daniel? Right, yeah.
Daniel
Good
Kelman,
to be back.
My favorite non-governmental show lawyer, so thank you Daniel for coming back over and over. So lots has happened since last week.
Yeah, a lot going on.
Yeah, should we start at the top of our list?
Start at the top of the list. Now Bitcoin Cash is more or less officially BCH. A majority of exchanges.
I think you meant, Bitcoin, the ABC version of Bitcoin Cash is officially right. BCH.
A majority of exchanges and industry leaders are associating ABC as Bitcoin Cash BCH. So some of the largest exchanges and key players, they're continuing to use the ABC software combined with the BCH ticker. So you have Bitpay, Coinbase, Kraken, CoinText, Hivr, TipprBot, Huobi, CoinEx, Bithumb, CoinMarketCap, Bitcoin Cash Association, and the list goes on.
How did they not include Bitcoin.com in our show notes there? Of course, Bitcoin.com is using Bitcoin ABC as Bitcoin Cash. So since it was the ABC team that created Bitcoin Cash in the first place, or saved Bitcoin from the core developers in the first place, depending on how you look at it. So for more information, check out our recent YouTube video that we made recently, which is you can subscribe to the channel and see all of our recent videos. We have lots of good content every single week. Or visit news.bitcoin.com for more. And Jamie Redman, he always writes awesome articles. Yeah. But he's been writing some updates on the hash wars specifically. And he wrote another, I think it was by Jamie, another fantastic article on how to split your SV coins from ABC coins. So then you can do what you want with them. You can sell one for the other. You can hold them both. You can sell them both. Whatever you guys want to do.
It's up to
That's
you.
the beauty of cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Is it's up to you to do whatever you want with it. And I think driving adoption in commerce is like the most important thing, because as we're recording this, like the entire crypto market took another big dive yesterday. Like it's down a lot from where it was just like a week ago. But like if people are using it in commerce, that gives people actual reason to hold it. And like these other people say, just hold, don't spend, don't ever use it. Like you're missing the entire point. The entire point is to drive merchant adoption, people using it in commerce. The more people that are using it in commerce, the more people are going to have a reason to need to hold some of it for that use in commerce. So the rest of this speculative stuff is just kind of nonsense, to be honest. You need to drive commercial adoption in commerce, and that's why this, quote-unquote fee market was just absolutely catastrophic to the adoption of cryptocurrencies in general, because when the fees are high, that's like kryptonite to people using it in commerce. So
people comparing it to gold. Gold was money first.
For 1,000 years,
money,
right?
Yeah, and it could still be money. And it was like it backed up the dollar for much of the 20th century. So how can you just say that? We don't need Bitcoin to be money. We can just put it in our wallet and have it be gold. It's got a long path before it gets to that point.
Yeah. So speaking of people, I guess doing promotion, we have Johnny Bitcoin Cash at Bitcoin Cash Clydesdale.
Introducing to the world our officially sponsored horse,
Johnny Bitcoin Cash.
Johnny Bitcoin Cash. His name was Johnny Cash, and his name is now Johnny Bitcoin Cash. You can see the beautiful bee emblazoned there on his rear quarters. Quantum Leap Farms, where we are now, where Johnny resides, is such a great service to the community, and we use Bitcoin Cash as our payment mechanism to do so because
it works.
I was just watching the video right before we recorded this. This horse is giant.
Yeah.
I knew Clydesdales were bigger than normal horses. I didn't realize how big this thing's got to be. Like 10 feet tall, or
more than 7 feet
at least
tall.
8 feet tall. I think that thing is huge. And we'll put a link to the video down below. But there's down in the Mike Reed and the Tampa Bay Bitcoin Cash meetup group have sponsored Johnny Bitcoin Cash at Quantum Leap Farms. That thing is huge.
Yeah.
Right? Like I think I'd be scared of it in person, to be honest.
I wouldn't ride it.
No, it's too dangerous, too big for us. But there's other much more adventurous people out there that I'm sure will love Johnny the Bitcoin Cash Clydesdale at the Tampa Bay area in Florida. Lots of Bitcoiners in Tampa Bay and in Florida in general. So, and Quantum Leap Farms is helping people of all ages and abilities grow strong, achieve therapeutic goals, and overcome challenges by engaging them with horses. You can sponsor Johnny Bitcoin Cash and other animals with Bitcoin Cash by using Bitpay on their donation section. We'll put a link there. Another thing that we talked about last week, we didn't actually get to do because it was nighttime, but like Feed those
Oh,
chickens.
chickens, yeah.
Chickens.cash. Maybe they'll set up something with like you can like give Johnny some like horse food if you send some Bitcoin Cash live on a live stream someday or something like that.
It's too bad the chickens were sleeping.
Yeah, that's the downside about being on this side of the
Yeah.
world is the chickens.cash are asleep when we're up and doing things.
Maybe
But one
for
of
an
these
extra
weeks,
fee, you can wake them up, right?
yeah, if the chickens.cash guy is watching this, set up like some sort of thing where you can wake up the chickens for an extra fee. We'll gladly send the Bitcoin Cash. So, yeah, next on our
On to the
list.
next
there,
one. So, se habla español?
No.
Well, me either. But if you do, you can check out the new Spanish Bitcoin.com live stream at es.bitcoin.com.
Every Wednesday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
Yeah.
We'll be sound asleep.
We'll be asleep, and
We don't speak Spanish
I
anyhow.
wouldn't understand what they're saying as it is. But if you do speak Spanish, check it out. Should be interesting.
Yep.
And there's also the es.bitcoin.com for news forum and everything else on bitcoin.com.
Yeah, so if you speak, if tu hablas español, visit es.bitcoin.com, and I apologize for my not very laughably bad Spanish.
I
there.
apologize to my Spanish teachers from high school and college. I didn't learn any, forgot it all.
Yep. So another big piece of news, I guess, Badger Wallet. It's a fork of MetaMask for BCH powered by Bitbox. Bitbox is, of course, the developer.bitcoin.com platform. Currently, it's supporting both Wormhole and SLP tokens with plans for plugin architecture, so any token protocol can be used. Developers are also working on a Web3 API for Bitcoin Cash dApps, similar to the ETH Web3 API. If you're a developer, that should be really exciting to you. So, anything to add on that one, Daniel? If you're a lawyer, it's not quite as exciting.
So exciting. I used MetaMask before for I was using some decentralized exchange to make trades. So
yeah. So I think we talked about it 2 weeks ago or something. There was some Ethereum-based distributed exchange, and like the SEC fined the author of the software like I don't know $80,000 or I forget the exact amount, but like it's like trying to hold back the tide. Like people are building permissionless systems. People are going to use those permissionless systems without permission, and that's a good thing. So any SEC people that are watching this, like, go and find honest work in the private sector. You can like do some consulting for these businesses or something like that.
And ironically, that's probably what they're trying to do in the first place by working at the SEC. They go work at the SEC for a couple of years and come out and find work in the private sector.
Consulting on how to deal with the SEC, probably. So we
we
talked about Ben Losky doing exactly that last time.
We call it the Ben Losky Guide to Crony Capitalism.
Full video coming soon on the Ben Losky Guide to Crony Capitalism. Erect all sorts of barriers to entry into your government position, and then quit that position, and then start a consulting firm to help people deal with overcoming the barriers that you set up in the first place. Like, how can people? I think a lot of people see through it, but like the ones that are paying attention. But like most of the people are just busy with their lives, and they don't realize that like that's so much of what goes on with government stuff. So honest.cash, that sounds like a good name. What is honest.cash there, Daniel?
So it's a new uncensorable social network, which if you're following what Facebook and Twitter are doing, is something we need more and more. And honest.cash is powered by Bitcoin Cash, and it's an alternative to yours.org. So you can earn Bitcoin Cash for creating creative and valuable content, and it's uncensorable, community-driven, and fully open source.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
We were thinking about actually doing something like that at Bitcoin.com too. Maybe we'll make like ours.bitcoin.com or something like that where people can do that sort of thing, because I think there's a good need for that. And I realized that we skipped over the Badger button. So it says...
let's go back.
So neither of us have actually used the money button, but there seemed to be a lot of buzz or excitement about that. I tried to use it once and it wasn't working for me, but the most interesting part of the notes about the Badger button, I see that it's a 100% open source under the MIT license. And so I've seen like some of these SV supporters, like mainly Calvin, are talking about how like their software is open source for anybody to use for their defined version of Bitcoin Cash only. Like, apparently you don't understand what open source means. Open source means it's open for anybody to use. If you say it's open for anyone to use, and all these restrictions around it, exactly how you use it and what you use it for, then it's not open source. That's called, I don't know, what's the legal term for that? Licensed software?
Yeah, it's a closed source.
The source might technically be open where you can read the code, but
there's restrictions on what you can do with it.
Yeah, so it's certainly not open use, open source.
So if you do something they don't like, the next thing you'll have Calvin knocking on your door, telling you to please take down whatever you just created.
Yeah, and for the record, like, I think Calvin's been on the wrong side of things recently, but like I like Calvin. Like Calvin is one heck of an entrepreneur. He gets things done. He replies so fast when things. He really makes things done, and I would love to see him come back and support the best tool we have to bring more economic freedom to the world, and that's Bitcoin Cash. And by Bitcoin Cash, of course, it's the ABC version, because the SV version, I wish them good luck, but it doesn't have the network effect. It doesn't have all this stuff going for it, and probably the biggest drawback at this point is I hate to be negative. I'm so optimistic about everything in my life, but the biggest drawback for SV is it has a particular negative personality associated with it, dragging it down, attacking people, and just doing all sorts of stuff. So I'll leave it at that, because it doesn't make me happy to say not nice things about people, but man, the community is so important, and you have so many passionate, enthusiastic builders supporting the ABC version of Bitcoin Cash. And so you need to build the ecosystem, and we were talking about it right before we turned the camera on, or maybe the camera was on, but commerce, you have to be using this in commerce. Like, let's build the tools to make Bitcoin Cash useful in commerce so that people can use it in commerce. And the more people using it in commerce, the better, the bigger the market cap, the more stable the price will be, like the better all the way around. So, which brings us to the next thing, Daniel. What do you got?
It's ERC721 tokens, now available on BCH. So non-fungible tokens now available with ERC721 on the Bitcoin Cash ecosystem. Crypto badgers and ERC721 token have also been created and sent out by Gabriel Cardona.
Bitcoin.com's very own Gabriel Cardona. He's sending them to people on Twitter, apparently. So follow Gabriel on Twitter. So for your free crypto badger. And if you don't know what a crypto badger is, it's the same as the crypto kitties, but now on Bitcoin Cash. So I thought they were going to call them Bitcoin bitches, BCHs, right? like puppy dogs, right? Female puppies, but apparently they went with crypto badgers instead of Bitcoin bitches and crypto kitties. But there you go. So
to each their own. Maybe we'll make a Bitcoin bitches.
Maybe we'll fork it, and we'll be giving them away on Twitter. So follow me and Daniel on Twitter if you want some Bitcoin bitches at some point. So yeah, puppy dogs we're talking about, just to be clear. So. And if you want to fool around with all these tokens and all this stuff, like head on over to rest.bitcoin.com for the API platform to do it all, or developer.bitcoin.com, so you can do all the stuff with Wormhole and our SDK and all sorts of stuff. So if you're a developer, developer.bitcoin.com is the right place for you to go. Speaking of things developers built, BCHD Full Load, which is a neutrino wallet for Bitcoin Cash. I think that was by Chris Pacia of OpenBazaar, which is probably one of my favorite projects in the entire crypto coin ecosystem. Is OpenBazaar. Like, OpenBazaar is awesome. Their team is awesome. Like, kudos to OpenBazaar. You guys, like, so I want to talk about another thing that's not in our list here. Did you see the article? I think I was telling you about it yesterday on CoinGeek.
I think I know what
about how the Silk Road retarded cryptocurrency adoption, set it back by years. It's the exact opposite. I heard about Bitcoin for the very first time because of the Silk Road. Yeah. And it was the Silk Road that started to drive adoption of cryptocurrencies in commerce.
It's what drove the price up. It was the first actual need.
Actual use case.
Yeah, the actual use case.
Yeah.
And very often with technology, it's people who need it the most who will use it the first.
Yeah.
And that was the Silk Road. And so, OpenBazaar is like a continuation.
OpenBazaar? Where are you from? OpenBazaar.
OpenBazaar. So.
You've been in Asia too long. Your English is fading, right? So, OpenBazaar, huh? OpenBazaar is awesome, and it's basically an uncensorable open bazaar where anybody can buy and sell whatever they want. And they've implemented a bunch of different, including cryptocurrencies. You can exchange cryptocurrencies on OpenBazaar now. Yeah, you can buy and sell one cryptocurrency for another on OpenBazaar, which I think is fantastic as well. So if you haven't tried that out already, make sure you try out OpenBazaar. And one of their developers have made another full node implementation from scratch, where Bitcoin Cash users now have access to the experimental wallet, which focuses on strong network level privacy. More privacy is really good, and we're working on bringing a lot more privacy to the Bitcoin.com wallet as well. So that's really important. So this BCHD full node implementation limits the amount of information that the wallet sends to its peers, as well as the servers to which it connects. So if you're using it on mainnet, please only use it with a small amount of funds. It's still in beta, so you've been warned. But I assume that's all. Yep, it's open source, so if you want to contribute to the code and help Chris out with that, head on over to that. And follow Chris on Twitter. He's full of so many interesting, funny things on Twitter. He's such a sharp guy. Although, one other thing I see a lot in the cryptocurrency community in general, I feel like people are spending too much time on Twitter talking about things rather than actually doing things.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like people should spend more time doing rather than talking about doing. So, like, actions speak louder than words. Start taking more actions and get things done. Any thoughts on that, Daniel?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't spend a lot of time on Twitter. Maybe I should spend more time on Twitter. Just too busy. So there's a lot to do out there, and if you want to get things done in life, you can't, spend your days reading what other people are doing and engaging in
and arguing with people on the internet all day.
Yeah.
Don't get into like long-winded arguments on the internet. Like, it'll suck your entire day away. A lot of people think, oh, Roger never replies to anybody on Twitter. Yeah, that's right, because the second I start replying to people, I'm going to be stuck there all day arguing with a million people all over the internet, and I won't be able to get anything done. So instead, I try and tweet once a day, and that's my thoughts for the day, and that's it. I'm not going to argue about it. If you agree, fine. If you don't, that's fine. Like, I don't know. I don't care. Like, and I try and make these videos once a week, and then maybe a supplemental video at some point if something else really major happens in the ecosystem. But that way I can spend all the rest of my day actually working on building the tools to make Bitcoin Cash more useful in commerce to bring more economic freedom to the world. So if you're wondering why I'm not busy on social media all day, every day, that's why. Because I'm busy building tools for people to actually use. So
at the end of your career, when you're ready to retire, I don't think anyone looks back and says,
I wish I spent more time on Twitter.
Arguing with strangers on the internet, right?
Yeah. So another interesting thing that I haven't had time to read into deeply enough, but zero confirmation forfeits seem to be a thing that Bitcoin Unlimited has come up with on how to add additional security for unconfirmed transactions on the Bitcoin Cash network. And like, from my experience as a Bitcoin user for almost 8 years now, it's been good enough for just about everything all the time. But if you can make things even better, that's fine.
Yeah,
but on the other hand, if something's not broken, don't fix it. So balance those two things. But you can head on over to a YouTube video about this exact thing over at news.bitcoin.com, and we'll put links to the Twitter account that's mentioning it, and basically it makes ZeroConf even safer. Supposedly still working on that. So any other news items you want to cover before we go to the questions of the week?
News items, I don't know, maybe
let's tell people about what we're up to here in the Philippines, right?
Yeah.
So there's if you like K-pop, and if you don't know what K-pop is, it stands for Korean pop music. One of the top producers of K-pop music in all of Korea, which means all the world because K-pop is from Korea.
It's from Korea.
I don't know the exact details of what it's going to be, but they're looking to do some sort of K-pop ICO, and K-pop is crazy, crazy, crazy popular. Like, it is so popular. Like, I'm a little embarrassed to admit it, but I've been a K-pop fan since before I knew about cryptocurrencies. Yeah. Anyhow, they're building it on top of the Bitcoin Cash network. And so they're having a conference here in Manila that we're going to be attending right after we're done recording this video, and we'll take some photos of that too. Maybe we can get those photos in here in time for people to use. But yeah, K-pop plus Bitcoin Cash
plus Philippines equals a lot of fun,
and it equals more adoption. I think we're going to try and give Bitcoin Cash to all the people that are in attendance to the conference this afternoon. So yeah. Anything else to add there, Daniel?
I don't know.
No? Okay, well, let's get to the questions. And if you have more questions, post them in the questions below this video, and we'll try and answer them next week for you as well. We'll try and answer them every week. So if you have questions, put them down below. Share this video on your own social media. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell notification icon so you can find out. And we do this, every single weekend, basically. Sometimes it's Friday, sometimes it's Saturday, sometimes it's Sunday. It depends on the schedule. But once a week for sure, we're committed to doing that. And we'll shoot to doing it every Friday night, but it depends on where we're at in the world. So, first question, what do we got here, Daniel?
Question is from Jordan. Sorry about your last name, Pridey.
Bazzer.
He says, I'm curious, which of ABC or SV has more Bitcoinness? If you were to redo your chart, which previously compared BTC to BCH. So he's referring to a video you did a while back where you went through different aspects of BTC and BCH and compared them. So
yep. And we'll put a link to that video below too. So if you want to see my original comparison between BTC and BCH and the arguments I gave why Bitcoin Cash is Bitcoin and BTC no longer is, you can watch that video. And I think that's the right question, Jordan. I should probably make an update to that and compare all three versions of I guess we should call them Bitcoin BTC, BCH, and BSV. I think some arguments can be made that BSV has some of those characteristics, but the fact that there's one miner with like 70% of the mining power on one single pool, that should be concerning as far as the censorship resistance goes. But yeah, great question, Jordan, and I'll see if I can squeeze some time in to do that this week, but or at least make upgrade my my little graph there with all the boxes and check them off. So great question. Sorry I don't have a clear answer for you yet, but we'll see if we can put that together for you soon. So, and then ASD, I think you just chose 3 characters in a row on the keyboard and got a lucky 3-letter user ID. But ASD says, any predictions when we are going to achieve economic freedom? Thank you for making the world a better place for everyone. So I wish I could say it's next Tuesday at 3:42 p.m., but there's not a set time or place. It's a gradual process, that takes week after week, month after month, year after year, and we have to build the tools. No slave was ever freed by asking for permission from his slave master to let him go. People literally had to disobey the law and break the law, and it's the lawbreakers in society that moved the world forward. And if it wasn't for Rosa Parks, refusing to obey the law and sitting at the front of the bus instead of the back, maybe it would have taken decades more before black people were allowed to sit anywhere they want on the bus. So if you look at it, it's literally the people that break the law that improve society. And I'm not saying that everybody should break every law all the time, but when there's an unjust law, moral people violate that law. They disobey the law. It was illegal to hide Jews in your home in Nazi Germany. The good, just, moral people broke the law and became criminals to hide Jews from the Nazis. The lawbreakers are the good people when they're disobeying unjust laws. So if you see an unjust law out there, do some soul searching and decide for yourself if you want to break that law. And if the law is unjust, I encourage you to break that law. So here I am on public YouTube video. If the law is unjust, I implore you to break that law, ignore the politicians, ignore the police, or even resist those people that are trying to enforce unjust laws upon the people.
And there's another quote I'm reminded of. It said, I could have freed so many more people if only they realized they were slaves.
Yeah,
so,
I think Harriet Tubman said that, right?
I think it was her.
Yeah.
And
she
so,
said, I freed 1,000 slaves, but I could have freed thousands more if they had only realized they were slaves. And that's so much a part of it. So people go to government school from such a young age, and they're indoctrinated into thinking that the government is here to protect them and watch over them and here to help them. But no, they're actually your owner. They act like they own you. They claim, like we were joking about it at breakfast this morning.
Yeah.
What country was this? That they were lowering the France or somebody.
France, yeah.
They
lowered their tax rate for blockchain businesses from 35% to 30%.
And Daniel goes, oh great, they're only going to steal 30% of our income instead of 35. Let's go move there. No one. Theft is theft, regardless of the amount. So
we have a lot of NPCs to deprogram. In short, that's what it comes down to.
And to be honest, I was brainwashed too in those schools.
I was for a long time.
I had to pick up books and be exposed to these ideas. And I remember one of the real big turning points in my view of government was when Murray Rothbard pointed out that the military draft, is the moral equivalent of kidnapping and slavery. It's kidnapping people and forcing them to work against their will, and if they don't, those people get sent to prison if they don't do that. And everybody knows slavery is wrong, but everybody's taught from a young age that the draft is okay because if the government needs you, it needs to have a way to do that. But the draft and slavery is the exact same thing. And so if slavery is wrong, people that claim to have the moral right to kidnap and enslave you, they're not good people. They're wrong. They're kidnappers and enslavers. So if the government claims the right to kidnap and enslave you, the government people aren't good people. And it needs to stop. And I remember it was before, the days of, Kindles and that sort of thing. I was holding a physical paper book in my hands. And I literally just felt this sick feeling in my stomach and felt afraid to keep reading the book because it was turning my entire view of the world upside down, because I had always been taught that the government is here to help us and protect us. And here is this person with cold, hard logic, reason, and evidence pointing out that no, the government's a bunch of slave owners and they treat you as tax cattle and just milk you for your taxes and then use that money to kidnap and enslave you and harass your business. And if you don't go along with it, they'll use the money that you and your fellow tax cattle have paid. They'll use that to pay a bunch of cops to kick your door down and toss you in jail if you don't go along with the program. It's absolute madness. But it doesn't feel like madness until somebody points out to you just how crazy the system is. Because just like when you're a little kid and your parents tell you Santa Claus is going to come down the chimney and bring you presents, you believe it because every adult around you tells you that that's the case. And if everybody around you tells you something's true, a lot of times you just don't question it. It's not until you get older and maybe some other kids at school or somebody tell you, hey, Santa's not real. And then you think, wait a minute, yeah, how would a fat guy even be able to fit down my chimney? And how would he even have time to go down all these chimneys around the world? Like, there's no way Santa's real. And then when you stop and think about it, wait a minute, government's claiming that they control all of us and they can toss us in jail, but they call themselves our representatives? Like, how can a representative shouldn't boss around the one he represents, right? Like, how is that a representative? It's Orwellian doublespeak to call them representatives. They don't represent the voters. They boss the voters around. And just because you get to have a vote as to which person's going to boss you around doesn't mean that person's still not your boss. So this has definitely got into like a political tirade, but like I think it's important to point out the whole idea of government that one small group of people gets to boss everybody else around and collect half their income and send them to jail if they don't pay. It's absolute nonsense. So just like the idea of Santa Claus being real is absolute nonsense, the idea that a small group of people have the legitimate moral authority to boss everybody else around, and if you don't do what they say, they can toss you in jail, that's even crazier than the idea of Santa Claus. And it does way more harm than the idea of Santa Claus. So, anything to add, Daniel?
Most people are not satisfied with their elected representatives, and I think approval ratings of Congress in the U.S. are like less than 30%. So they're very open to these, to these sort of ideas. So they just need to be exposed to them, and most people never get the opportunity to be exposed. Almost everyone in this community that I meet came to these ideas in some sort of unique way. Like me, I bought a video off some guy on the street in Brooklyn that first taught me about what the Federal Reserve was and where it came from.
What video was that?
It was called Money Masters. It was by I'm blanking on the guy's name.
Is that Mike Maloney? Did he make that one, or is that a different one? So I feel like I've heard of Money Masters.
It's fantastic. It's like 8 hours long. It's on YouTube. You can go and download. Bill Still. Yeah. So it's on YouTube. It's like 8 hours long, but take your time and watch it. It really opened my eyes to the history of money, the history of central banking, and what a fraud it all was. And that was in 2007. I was in law school, and the next year, I saw everything. I was in New York and working on like
Tell
Wall
the
Street.
district attorney's office story from New York, right? That's a good story.
I probably shouldn't tell that, but
I think we should tell it, right? A bunch of hypocrites there. Do you mind telling it?
I know people from law school who who worked at like the DA's office, in the drug crimes unit, and I've seen blowing lines of cocaine. Look the camera in the eye and let them know. They're snorting coke on the weekends, and what were they doing during the week? Prosecuting people for the same types of crimes.
So they're snorting coke on the weekends and then prosecuting other people for doing coke during the weekdays when they're at work. And they're being paid to do that with money stolen from people in the form of taxes, right? And seized from people that were selling coke probably too, right?
Yeah.
Hypocrisy, and it's not just the New Yorkies, it's everywhere.
You see it in New York, but it's everywhere. I haven't seen it in other places. I haven't worked in other places, but I'm sure it's there.
Of course it's everywhere.
Yeah.
So to get back to ASD's questions, when will we have more economic freedom? As soon as we start to ignore or break the laws of the people that are trying to restrict the amount of economic freedom that there is in the world. And that'll make the world a better place for everybody, because more economic freedom leads to more economic growth, and more economic growth increases the rate of the standard of living of everybody all over the planet. So, man, ignore a politician today to increase the rate of economic growth tomorrow. So
that was a great question.
Great question, ASD, whoever you are. So, next question we got.
How can I sell...
Hey, what's the username? He has a good username, right? Big Boy Liquor.
Big Boy Liquor. Lots of capitals.
Caps and zeros in here.
Made it hard to read, but Big Boy Liquor says, how can I sell BCHSV from a paper wallet?
So I think this would probably work, but be careful with it. I don't think you would lose any funds at all from this. So if you go and install the Bitcoin.com wallet, and then make a brand new wallet with no funds and no transactions in it at all, and then sweep the funds from the paper wallet into your Bitcoin.com wallet, then you'll have both the BSV and the BCH there. And then you can go to an exchange like CoinEx and then send the funds from your Bitcoin.com wallet to the CoinEx exchange, which uses, and double check to make sure it's the case, they use the same deposit addresses for both BCH and BSV. And then both coins will have gone from the paper wallet to your phone and then to the exchange, and then you can sell one for the other or do whatever you want there. I think that should probably work, but be careful and I don't do your own research, but I think that should probably work just fine. So, Cal Gapo says, "Where's the link to Jan Hellfield's video?" That sounds like a question for our wonderful producer Michael, who puts the show notes together each week. Maybe those Jan Helfield videos links didn't make it in the show notes. Michael, I put it
in this one
in my notes, and I'll put it in there again for this week. Let's make sure we get those into the notes here for this week, please. And thank you, Michael, for doing such a wonderful job each week on these videos. So, Retro Game Plus says.
He says, Roger, I have worked with Jan Helfield. Whoops, my Siri just ticked off. Says, Roger, I have worked with Jan Helfield. He's very open to collaboration. You guys should collaborate. Please. That would be an honor, yeah.
We, like Daniel and I are both giant
fan.
fans of Jan Helfield. But the big question is, what should we have him collaborate on exactly? So if you guys watching this video have an idea as to what you would like Jan to do or interview or something, like Bitcoin.com is happy to sponsor it. We'll pay for him to go travel and interview whoever he can get to, or just we're more than happy. We just need a good idea of what that should be. So if you guys have ideas as to what that should be, post it in the comments down below so we can figure out exactly what we should have Jan help with, because we're giant fans of Jan Helfield, and I've been watching his videos since I was a young man, and just remember wow, like these. And so you see these people get so angry in his interviews. The reason they get so angry is because of this thing called cognitive dissonance, right?
Yeah.
So it's the exact same feeling I had when I was reading this book pointing out that the draft is kidnapping and slavery. Like, it's a scary feeling. Like, you literally almost feel sick when, you are realizing that you're holding two completely conflicting ideas in your mind at the same time, and somebody points out to you that, and you've held these ideas for a long time, someone points out to you that, they both can't be true. And, that's what Jan Helfield is doing to these politicians when he just asks them a couple of little questions, and then all the people have to do is answer the questions, and they get so angry because it's popping their distorted view of the world. So
if you want to watch Nancy Pelosi explain why everyone has to pay minimum wage, but why she doesn't have to pay minimum wage to her interns, please go watch the Jan Helfield video.
Yeah. So, and all these politicians like this, watch Jan Helfield's videos. They are fantastic. So. And we'll make sure that they're in the video below here, the description below. So, you got the next one there?
So Nicholas Peter, an easy name to pronounce.
Thank you, Nicholas Peter, for having an easy name on your screen.
He says, question: would you be open to going on the YouTube channels Anarchast and We Are Change? Jeff Berwick of Anarchast is an anarchist, and Luke Rudkowski is also an anarchist. Your message, mindset, and knowledge of crypto would be very, very valuable to those audiences. So I watch both of those. I'm a fan of both Jeff Berwick's Dollar Vigilante and Luke Rudkowski, We Are Change. I'm sure you've actually met them.
Yeah, I've been watching all their videos for a long, I think probably before crypto, and then really watched like Luke Rudkowski's channel used to just it used to be top trending videos for all of YouTube. Like when you go to the top trending videos for all of YouTube, oftentimes Luke's videos would be there, and then I don't know, a year or two ago, YouTube changed their algorithms to basically suppress anybody that's making interesting content that doesn't support the status quo.
Yeah.
Really disappointing to see YouTube do that, but I've been a big fan of both of them. I know both of them personally, and I've been on both of their Anarchast and We Are Changed multiple times on both. We'll try and put some links to some of my past appearances on both of those. I think the most recent time was probably more than a year ago for both of those, but I'm a big fan of both Jeff and Luke and their channels, and we'll put links to their YouTube channels below too, so you can subscribe to their channels, because their channels are fantastic as well. So great job, Luke, great job, Jeff, and thank you, Nicholas Peter, for a great question and an easy name to say. Long John Crypto says, Roger Veer, but I think we'll let Daniel answer this question. Is TX Highway still valid?
I believe so, yeah.
I think good enough. It shows. I think it just shows ABC transactions. So just think of it as a TX Highway for ABC Bitcoin Cash. And if you don't find that interesting, don't visit that website or the code. I don't know if it's open source or not. If it is, feel free to fork it and make the SV
Highway.
SV Highway. Yeah. So I guess that brings us to the end of our questions. Anything else to add for the show?
I don't know, nothing else at the moment.
So
I'm ready to have some fun with some K-pop idols and Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah. So now I know what I want to add. Let me pull it up here so everybody's thinking, "Oh my God, the price is down." Wow. So here, since I I paid my $5. Why are they showing me like ads? Right? Like, there we go. So since the BTC chart on here goes back the longest, so like people are way, the price is down. Over the last 2 years, the price is up 335%, and that doesn't count the splits and forks that came off of that. So it's probably up close to like 400 or 500%. So like, how can you complain? So like, yeah, for the last year, it's down 61%. It's up 335%, not counting the forks for the last 2 years. And for the last 5 years, it's up more than it broke the app. So, big picture. But remember, it's the use in commerce that drives the long-term price. It's not just people speculating on the internet. That's not sustainable. If it's only people speculating that other people are going to pay more for it later, that's the very definition of a Ponzi scheme, right? That's the very definition of a pyramid scheme, rather. If it's people using it in commerce, that is sustainable. Like, we have the chance to make money for the entire world that's not controllable by politicians to, help their friends and punish their enemies and buy bombs to drop on people around the world. We have a chance to strip away the power of government to mint money and control money to bring more, so we can bring more economic freedom to the entire world. And some people are like, oh, let's just hodl, bro. No, don't spend it ever. Like, wow, you guys are literally like holding back all of humanity. You're holding back the entire human race by that mindset. So get with the program, open some books on economics, open some books on business, and you'll see that like use of cryptocurrencies in commerce is what we need in order to bring more economic freedom to the world, and more economic freedom raises everybody's standard of living. So anything to add there, Daniel?
I think what's happening in the market now is people are reacting to the SEC, which is a big overreaction in my opinion.
Another big drag on the amount of economic freedom available to the world, everybody at the SEC.
And they don't even make the law. They just like enforce it with their opinion, and no one's challenging them. No one's taking them to court. What you really should look for is if they take action against like a big exchange, because people are saying it's the end of ICOs. Well, all these exchanges are still listing and trading ICOs. The SEC has done nothing about that. If they were securities, they'd have to have a license. So I think that's a big overreaction. And the investigation into Bitfinex, they were subpoenaed last December, and there was a whole investigation done then. And so now, some other government agency says they're going to do another investigation, and people panic. So these kind of things I'm not as worried about.
There you go. I guess that brings us to the end of the show. So if you like this video, subscribe to the channel, share it with a friend, share it on social media. That's how we get the word out. We haven't had this channel very long, so we need your help to spread it so we can be one of the biggest crypto channels on YouTube. So if you like our message of bringing more economic freedom to the world, we need your help to share this, get more subscribers to the channel, get the word out, help people install their first, Bitcoin.com wallet, give them some Bitcoin Cash, show them how it works, send them on over to purse.io, show them how to save 25% on all their purchases from Amazon. Head on over to cashgames.bitcoin.com where you can play games with your Bitcoin Cash. If you can deposit instantly, withdraw instantly when you win. If you lose, that means we're going to take that money and use it to promote more economic freedom around the world. So, did I leave any other things we need to promote out this week?
I don't think so.
No?
I think that's about it.
There you go. So
That's a wrap.
We'll see you next week. That's a wrap. And we'll try and go and take some good photos from this afternoon from the K-pop Bitcoin Cash promotion stuff that's happening this afternoon, so you guys can see that. So, yep, that's it. See you guys next week.
See you guys.